Hello students, welcome to all. This is the last video as far as the electrostatics is concerned. In this lecture, we have to solve the numericals given in the textbook. So let us see the first numerical, which is a dipole with its charges minus q and plus q located at the point 0 minus b 0 and 0 plus b 0 is present in a uniform electric field E. The equipotential surface of this field are planes parallel to YZ planes. A. What is the direction of electric field E? And second part, how much torque would the dipole experience in the field? So here a dipole is formed with the charges minus q and plus q located at the point 0 minus b 0 and 0 plus b 0. So actually these are the coordinates. This is x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate. This is also x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate. So this is x axis, y axis and z axis. EB is the dipole. Now look at the coordinates. In the first coordinate, x along x axis and z axis are 0. Only minus b is the coordinate along y axis. So along this axis the y coordinates are negative. So suppose at point B the charge is minus q and at point A the charge is plus q. So these are the coordinates 0, minus b and 0. This is y coordinate. Y coordinate minus b means this distance OB is equal to minus b, and 0 plus b 0, this is x coordinate, y coordinate. Along this axis y coordinates are positive. So this point B is situated at plus q. So this distance is also OB is also equal to B, and OA is also equal to B, and OB is also equal to B. But because of the negative charge placed at point B, so this is minus B. Now look at the first question. What is the direction of electric field E? Actually, the electric field intensity is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface, and therefore the electric field is directed along x-axis because this is the dipole. AB is the dipole which is along y-axis, means x-axis is perpendicular to the y-axis, and therefore the electric field is directed along y-axis or perpendicular to the YZ plane. Now second point, how much torque would the dipole experience in the field? We know that the torque acting by the dipole is given by tau is equal to P E into sin theta. Here what is P? P is the dipole moment and it is equal to the product of one of the charge and the length of the dipole, twice L. So P is equal to Q into twice L, where what is L? L is the length of each pole from the center of the dipole. So this distance is B, this distance is also B, so L is equal to B, and therefore P is equal to Q into twice B. Here theta is equal to 90 degree because electric field intensity E is perpendicular to the x-axis and dipole is kept along y-axis. So angle between x and y-axis is 90 degree and therefore theta is equal to 90 degree. Put the values of P and theta in this equation, we get torque tau is equal to Q into twice B E sin 90, but sin 90 is equal to 1 and therefore torque tau is equal to twice Q B E. This is the torque that would the dipole experience in the field. Now let us see the second numerical. Here the three charges minus Q, plus Q and minus Q are placed at equal distance on a straight line. If the potential energy of the system of the three charges is 0, then what is the ratio of Q and small q, capital Q as to small q? Now here this is the straight line. Suppose this is the charge Q1, here is the charge Q2 and here is charge Q3. Minus Q is kept at this point, plus Q is at the center and again minus Q is placed at the charge Q3. So distance between this charge and this charge is R. Means if we consider, suppose this is Q1 and Q2, then R12 is equal to R. Distance between the charge 1 and charge 2, R12 is equal to R. Similarly, distance between charge Q2 and Q3 is again R. So here is charge Q2 and Q3 and therefore R23 is equal to R. Here is charge Q1 and here is Q3. So distance between charge Q1 and Q3 is 2R. So R13 is equal to twice R. We know that the potential energy of system of three charges is capital U is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 in bracket Q1 Q2 upon R12 plus Q1 Q3 upon R13 plus Q2 Q3 upon R23. Now put the values of Q1 Q2 and R12 R13 and R23. So U is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 in bracket Q1 is equal to minus Q, Q2 is equal to plus Q upon R12 is equal to R plus Q1 minus Q, Q3 again minus Q upon R13 is equal to 2R, so 2R plus Q2, the value of Q2 is plus Q plus Q3 minus Q upon R. But the potential energy of the system is 0 potential energy of the system of the three charges is 0. So U is equal to 0, and therefore 0 is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. Take Q upon R as common. So in bracket, here is minus Q plus minus Q into minus Q plus Q square. So out of Q square, Q is common. So remaining quantity Q upon 2 minus capital Q, because plus Q is common. So U is equal to 0. The value of this constant 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 is 9 into 10 raised to 9. Q upon R in bracket minus Q plus minus Q means minus 2Q plus Q upon 2. So Q upon 2 minus 2Q. So 9 into 10 raised to 9 upon R multiplied by Q now. If we multiply this Q to the bracket, so Q square upon 2 minus twice Q into capital Q. This is equal to 0, but distance is not equal to 0. 9 into 10 raised to 9 is not equal to 0. So this term 9 into 10 raised to 9 upon R is not equal to 0, and therefore this term Q square upon 2 minus twice Q into Q is equal to 0, or we say that Q square upon 2 is equal to twice Q into Q, or Q get cancelled. Q upon 2 is equal to twice Q, and therefore capital Q upon small q is equal to 1 upon 4. This is the solution of this numerical. Now, the third numerical. A capacitor has some dielectric between its plate, and the capacitor is connected to a DC source. The battery is now disconnected, and then the dielectric is removed. State whether the capacitance, the energy stored in it, the electric field, charge stored, and voltage will increase, decrease, or remains constant. So what will happen if the battery is disconnected and the dielectric is removed from the capacitor? So the first one, since the battery is disconnected, charge will remains constant. Charge will remains constant. Second one, we know that the capacity of capacitor C is equal to A epsilon 0 K upon D, where A is the area of each plate, K is the dielectric constant, epsilon 0 permittivity of the medium, permittivity of the free space, and D is the distance between the two plates. Now, for air, the dielectric constant K is equal to 1, so Ca is equal to A epsilon 0 upon D. Take the ratio Ca upon Cm. Ca A epsilon 0 upon D upon Cm means multiplied by D upon A epsilon 0 K. A get cancelled, D get cancelled, epsilon 0 get cancelled. Ca upon Cm is equal to 1 upon K, and therefore Cm is equal to K into Ca. But the dielectric constant of any medium is always greater than 1, and therefore Cm is greater than Ca. Means as the dielectric is removed, the capacitance decreases. Third one, capacitance of condenser or capacitor C is equal to Q upon V. So Q is equal to C into V. From the statement 1, battery is disconnected, charge will remains constant. So as the charge is constant, what is the relation between C and V? C is inversely proportional to V. But here capacitance decreases. So as C decreases, the potential increases. Fourth point, electric field intensity E is equal to V upon D, where V is the potential and D is the distance between the two plates. Here, as V increases, electric field intensity also increases. And the last one, number 5, we know that energy U is equal to 1 upon 2 Q into V, or 1/2 QV. But here V increases, Q constant, charge is constant, V increases. So as V increases, energy also increases. So the first required quantity, state whether the capacitance, the energy stored in, the electric field, charge stored and voltage decrease, increase or remains constant. So in this problem, charges remains the constant. As dielectric is removed, capacitance decreases. As capacitance decreases, potential increases or V increases. As V increases, electric field also increases and energy also increases. So this is the solution of this numerical. Next numerical, find the ratio of potential difference that must be applied across the parallel and series combination of two capacitors C1 and C2 with their capacitance in the ratio 1:2, so that the energy stored in these two cases becomes the same. So here two capacitors C1 and C2 are connected in parallel and also in series combination. So let V1 be the potential applied across the series combination and V2 potential applied across parallel combination. So C1 upon C2 is equal to 1 upon 2 given. This is the given quantity. And therefore C2 is equal to twice C1. If the two condensers are connected or two capacitors are connected in series, then the equivalent series capacitance CS is equal to C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. And if the same capacitors are connected in parallel, then CP is equal to C1 plus C2. But again, one thing is given, the energy in series combination is equal to energy in parallel combination. And we know that the energy of the capacitor equal to 1/2 CV square. So in case of the series combination, energy in series combination is equal to 1/2 CS V1 square equal to energy in parallel combination 1/2 CP V2 square. Series equivalent capacitance and here is parallel equivalent capacitance. What is V1? Potential applied across the series combination of the capacitor, and V2 is the potential applied across the parallel combination. So 1/2 get cancelled. Put the value of CS. CS is equal to this one, C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2 V1 square is equal to CP C1 plus C2 V2 square. So V2 square upon V1 square is equal to C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2 into, take the reciprocal, 1 upon C1 plus C2. So here is C1 as it is. Put the value of C2. C2 is equal to twice C1. So C1 into twice C1 upon C1 plus, put the value of C2 again, twice C1. Here is also C1 plus twice C1. Now taking square root, V2 upon V1 is equal to, here is twice C1 square. The square root of C1 square is C1 root 2 upon, now look at this term, C1 plus twice C1, C1 plus twice C1 means C1 plus twice C1 bracket square, and the square root of this term is C1 plus twice C1. So C1 into root 2 upon twice C1 plus C1, 3C1. C1 get cancelled, V2 upon V1 is equal to root 2 upon 3. This is the solution of this numerical. Now the next numerical given in the textbook is two charges of magnitude minus 4q and plus 2q are located at a point 2a 0 and 5a 0 respectively. What is the electric flux due to these charges through a sphere of radius 4a with its center at the origin? So here the radius of the sphere is given and it is equal to 4a. So suppose this is the sphere having center O, the radius is equal to 4a. Minus 4q and plus 2q are the charges located at these coordinates. So here only two coordinates are given, x coordinate, y coordinate. This is also x coordinate, y coordinate. Y coordinates are 0. It means the charges are situated along x axis. So minus 4q is situated at point 2a. Because of the radius of the sphere is 4a, up to this point distance is 4a and this is 2a. So 2a will be the midpoint between 0 and 4a. So at 2a the charge situated is minus 4q. And second one, 5a, up to this point the distance is 4a because radius of the sphere is 4a and this coordinate is 5a, means this charge 2q is situated outside the sphere, and therefore according to the Gauss theorem or Gauss law, electric flux through the sphere is phi is equal to total charge enclosed by the sphere upon epsilon 0. Now in figure, the total charge enclosed by the sphere are only minus 4q because 2q is the charge, but this charge is present outside the sphere. So the charges enclosed by the sphere are only minus 4q and therefore phi is equal to minus 4q upon epsilon 0. Total charge enclosed by the sphere is equal to minus 4q only. So phi is equal to minus 4q upon epsilon 0. Next numerical is 6 microfarad capacitor is charged by 300 volt supply. It is then disconnected from the supply and connected to another uncharged 3 microfarad capacitor. How much electrostatic energy of the first capacitor is lost in the form of heat and electromagnetic induction? So the quantities given in this problem are, suppose this is C1. C1 is equal to 6 microfarad. So 6 into 10 raised to minus 6 farad. Convert this microfarad into farad because the SI unit of capacitance is farad. This capacitor is charged by a 300 volt supply. So potential V is equal to 300 volt. It is then disconnected from the supply and connected to another uncharged 3 microfarad capacitor. Suppose this is C2. C2 is equal to 3 microfarad or 3 into 10 raised to minus 6 farad. So how much electrostatic energy of the first capacitor is lost in the form of heat and electromagnetic induction? We know that the capacitance, when two capacitors are connected in series, capacity of the combination decreases, and when two condensers are connected in parallel, capacity of the combination increases. So look at the first condition. 6 microfarad capacitor is charged by 300 volt. So here C1 is equal to 6 microfarad capacitor and potential applied is V1. So initial energy EI is equal to 1/2 C1 V1 square. So 1/2, put the value of C1, 6 into 10 raised to minus 6, V1 square, 300 means 3 into 10 raised to 2 bracket square. So divide by 2 to 6, 6 by 2 3, 3 into 10 raised to 6, square of this quantity 9 into 10 raised to 4. If we solve this, we get 9 3s are 27 into 10 raised to minus 2 joule. Now second condition. After disconnecting the supply and connected to uncharged capacitor of 3 microfarad, this is C1 and this is C2, capacitor C2. Both are connected in parallel because this part of the figure, that is supply, is disconnected. So two condensers are in parallel now. Now by the law of conservation of charges, when two condensers are connected in parallel, charges on each condenser are different. So total charges Q is equal to Q1 plus Q2. Where what is Q1? Q1 is the charge on capacitor C1, Q2 is the charge on capacitor C2. But when condensers are connected in parallel, potential difference across each capacitor is the same. So put the value of Q, Q is equal to C into V. So here C1 V1 is equal to Q1 C1V plus Q2 C2V, because here potential across this condenser and this condenser is the same. So here is V, here is also V. So C1 V1 is equal to C1V plus C2V. C1 V1 is equal to, take V common, C1 plus C2 outside the bracket V. And therefore V is equal to C1 V1 upon C1 plus C2. Put the values. C1 6 into 10 raised to minus 6, V1 300 upon C1 6 into 10 raised to minus 6 plus 3 into 10 raised to minus 6. So 300 into 6, 1800 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon 3 plus 6 plus 3, 9 into 10 raised to minus 6. 10 raised to minus 6 get cancelled. Potential V is equal to 200 volt. Now this is the potential across this combination now. Now the final energy E final is equal to 1/2 Cp square, because condensers are connected in parallel. So E final is equal to 1/2 Cp into V square. Put the value of Cp, C1 plus C2. So 1/2 C1 plus C2 outside the bracket V square. So EF is equal to 1/2. Put the value of C1, 6 into 10 raised to minus 6 plus 3 into 10 raised to minus 6 outside the bracket 200 bracket square. So half 6 plus 3, 9 into 10 raised to minus 6 into 200 square means 4 into 10 raised to 4. So divide by 2, 4 by 2, 2 into 9, 18 into 10 raised to minus 2 joule. This is the final energy. But the required quantity is how much electrostatic energy of the first capacitor is lost in the form of heat and electromagnetic induction, and therefore the loss of energy is equal to final energy minus initial energy. Final energy loss of energy is equal to initial energy minus final energy. Initial energy minus final energy. Because initial energy is greater than final energy, so 27 into 10 raised to minus 2 minus 18 into 10 raised to minus 2. So loss of energy delta U is equal to 9 into 10 raised to minus 2 joule. So remember, here is the correction, EI minus EF. So this is the solution of this numerical. So next numerical is 125 small liquid drops, each carrying a charge of 0.5 microcoulomb and each of diameter 0.1 meter from a bigger drop. Calculate the potential at the surface of the bigger drop. I think here is the correction. "125 small liquid drops, each carrying a charge of 0.5 microcoulomb and each of diameter 0.1 meter form a bigger drop. Calculate the potential at the surface of the bigger drop." So here number of liquid drops are given. N is equal to 125, each carrying a charge of 0.5 microcoulomb. So charge Q is equal to 0.5 microcoulomb, means 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 coulomb, and each of diameter 0.1 meter. Diameter 0.1 meter means radius is equal to diameter upon 2. So 0.1 upon 2 means 0.05 meter. Now let us suppose that small r is the radius of the smaller drop and capital R is the radius of bigger drop. There are 125 small liquid drops. So charge on bigger drop is suppose capital Q. Capital Q is equal to number of liquid drops multiplied by charge on each drop. So capital Q is equal to N into Q. 125 small liquid drop forms a one bigger drop. It means the volume of liquid remains the same, and therefore volume of bigger drop is equal to volume of 125 smaller drops. So volume of drop means spherical body. So 4 by 3 pi r cube, because capital R is the radius of bigger drop. 4 by 3 pi r cube is equal to 125 into 4 by 3 pi r cube small r cube. So 4 by 3 pi get cancelled. Capital R cube is equal to 125 into small r cube. Take the cube root, R is equal to 5 times small r. Now the potential on the surface of bigger drop, because required quantity is potential. Calculate the potential at the surface of the bigger drop. Potential on the surface of the bigger drop, V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 capital Q upon R. Or V is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0, put the value of capital Q as well as capital R. So Q is equal to NQ, capital R is equal to 5R. So V is equal to the value of this quantity 9 into 10 raised to 9 multiplied by N 125, Q 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 upon 5, this one, and small r is equal to 0.05, means 5 into 10 raised to minus 2. So 9 into 10 raised to 9, here is 5 into 5, 25, 125 upon 25 means 5. So 5 into 0.5, 2.5, 10 raised to minus 6, 10 raised to plus 2 means 10 raised to minus 4. So if we solve this, we get 22.5, 10 raised to plus 5, or V is equal to 2.25 into 10 raised to 6 volt. Now the next numerical is the dipole moment of water molecule is 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 30 coulomb meter. Remember, this is dipole moment, so this is coulomb meter. A sample of water contains 10 raised to 21 molecules whose dipole moment are all oriented in an electric field of strength 2.5 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per coulomb. Calculate the work to be done to rotate the dipoles from their initial orientation theta 1 is equal to 0 to 1 in which all the dipoles are perpendicular to the field, that is theta 2 is equal to 90 degree. So here the quantities given in this problem are the dipole moment of water molecule is 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 30 coulomb meter. So dipole moment P is equal to 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 30 coulomb meter. Second quantity, a sample of water contain 10 raised to 21 molecules. So N is equal to 10 raised to 21. Next, electric field of strength 2.5 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per coulomb. Electric field E is equal to 2.5 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per coulomb. And the position, rotation, theta 1 is equal to 0 and theta 2 is equal to 90 degree. Rotation of the dipole is given. The required quantity is calculate the work to be done to rotate the dipole from one position to another position. And we know that the work done required to rotate the dipole is W is equal to PE into cos of theta 1 minus cos of theta 2. So PE and theta 1, theta 2 all are known quantities. This is very simple problem. So put the values of theta 1 and theta 2, P and E, we get W is equal to P 6.3 into 10 raised to minus 30, E 2.5 into 10 raised to 5 cos 0 degree minus cos of 90 degree. 6.3, 2.5, 10 raised to minus 35, minus 30 plus 5 means 10 raised to minus 25, cos 0, 1 minus cos 90, 0. So W is equal to, if we solve this, we get 15.75 into 10 raised to minus 25 into 1 means same quantity, or W is equal to 1.575 into 10 raised to minus 24 joule. This is for one water molecule. But here the number of water molecules are 10 raised to 21, and therefore for 10 raised to 21 water molecules, W is equal to 10 raised to 21 into this work done, 1.575 into 10 raised to minus 24. So 1.575 into 10 raised to minus 24 plus 21 minus 3. This is the final work done by the die. So this is all about of the numericals given in the textbook. Okay.